again, my friends. Once more, welcome back to Leopard Street, back to the cellar. Last episode, I put some new colour light signals in, and I sort of got them working a little bit with manual control. Well, over the weekend, I did a little bit more. I put some more in. They don't work yet. I'm going to come on to why. So this is just going to be a little bit of a generic-y update video, and I've got an experiment I'm going to try. I hope it'll work. As I'm filming this intro, I haven't tried it yet, so stick about. This could be interesting. Maybe. This is Leopard Street. Okay, so as I said, I've got these two signals in. Now, they're both showing green now because I've set up the signal mask logic. I'm not going to go into how I did that and what that did yet. I want to learn a little bit more about it myself before I start saying things that might be incorrect. But what we've got, I have fitted a signal here, which you will note is not on. These signals, as I mentioned in the video, are driven by one of those, a TLC 5947. This board, board J, has one. It is there. It's that glowing thing there. It's got a power light on it, so that's glowing. So I could connect those. Come around here. I've fitted one there. This board does not have one of those, so I can't connect it to anything. I've fitted two more here on the upslope and the downslope. Check how well the glue's dried on those. Yeah, it's pretty well. This is board B. Board B also does not have a controller. And there's two more over here on board C. Yeah, yet again, it doesn't have a controller. So, yeah, okay. So, what I did over the weekend, I put those in. They've got the little ferrule wires on them. I need to do a little board for underneath each one to plug them into. That's fine. I'm tempted while I'm doing this one. I was going to put a light in by that hut. Possibly while lighting that hut. I might have a look at doing that. We shall see. I can't do the lighting on the high street or the street lighting because I don't have the street lights. Really do need to finish those buildings as well. Anyway, so that's what I did for the weekend. Now, what I wanted to do was wire those up. I say I haven't got the controllers. So, yeah. A quick look over at the desk. However, before I do that, something else that needs doing. So those signals are in. They don't work, but JMRI knows about them and JMRI thinks they work. I've not fully tested them. So to test them, I need to drive some trains. To drive some trains, I need to be able to not walk through this bit because there should be some track here. So what I'm going to do is put this bit back in. Now this is one of the things. I've designed this bit to be really easy to fit, and it is, but there's a knack to it, which is it has to line up roughly. Get it. There we are. So it goes in there. I push it forwards, and I drop that down. That's now in. So what I can do is find the little bit of wire here and plug that in. Brilliant. And now I've got to duck under here to reach the camera. Back to the desk. And just a quick detour. I'm still working on the turntable. I'm changing the demount circuit slightly. I've taken the diode out and I've fitted a 39k resistor in place of the 10k. What it occurred to me and what I was still getting a little bit of jitter on the calibration side. So normally when you're doing this, you're a switch. You want to press the switch and you want it to respond instantly and take out the bounce. Here, what I actually want it to do is not respond instantly. I want to debounce it going on as well as off. So I've taken the diode out so it can't charge the capacitor up instantly. So it puts the delay on charging as well as on discharging. And the bigger resistor means it takes a little bit longer. So yeah, we'll come back to that. Now if that's all, see, station approach signal. I'll put these ones in over here. Now, there's actually a quick aside. You can see the experiment. We'll get to that in a minute. Kelly noted, these signals, these are perfect, easy to operate, and they work. So she said, specifically, easy to operate for beginners. I'd actually go slightly further. They're easy to operate. I mean, literally, it's just that. That's it. Now, if I want to say, oh, the Flying Scotsman needs to depart, the signal must be set. If it was like that, all I'd have to do is come over here. Yeah, set. Now, obviously, I can drive the train anyway. It's just the look of the thing. But yeah, they are actually pretty useful. So I put 3 of them in here as platform starters. That one's a danger because that one's not set up to depart. That actually the Scotsman isn't either. So, there we go. They will eventually be colour lights as well. Well, eventually they'll be proper semaphores. They will go to colour lights briefly first. I don't know exactly where the platforms are going to be, which is why I've not done them. Right. Now, if that was all I got done over the weekend, that'd be a bit naff. It isn't. I also got another DTC8 done. It hasn't got the coils fitted yet. That's something I need to do. That is for this board here where Bucky is sitting. That'll bring this board into the operations. Board L here needs quite a bit of work doing to it. It needs a lighting controller fitting, so I can hook up that signal. It needs that block detection board fitting and wiring in. There is actually a bit more track it needs, but that's going to have to wait. It needs 2 relay boards, which are over there swapping out. They're the replacements. And it needs a damaged PCF 8575 replacing with one that works. Quite a bit of work to do on here. What I'm hoping to do is get things ready for next weekend so I can do this board over next weekend. So yeah, and these are my lighting controllers. I'm going to do a little video on these. I've begun to sketch out because I need to modify it. I'm going to wait until I've got some more of these. I've got 1 left. And I need board A, board B, board C, board L, board M, and board L. I've got 4 more on order. These latter 2 boards are going to wait for a bit. They don't actually have signals on, so they're not strictly speaking necessary. Although I would quite like to start playing with platform lighting. So there may be a platform here with a bit of light on it at some point. We shall come to that. Anyway, enough wittering. Let's have a little look at the experiment, shall we? So, what I've got here, I might as well show it while it's over here. That's be as easy to see as well. It's on the desk. This is not set up properly yet. This is an old Triang coach in baby poo brown. I haven't stripped the paint off it. At some point I will. Sitting on the front, not quite on the right angle, is a camera. Now, I've been watching some of Charlie's videos, and he uses Quicksilver something or other. It's a drone camera. Now, I typed into Amazon drone camera. I've got thousands of drones with cameras. That's not quite what I wanted, but never mind. I looked up small security cameras, and there's a lot on there. They all need a phone app to make them work, which I don't want. I want one that I can just plug in, configure with the Wi-Fi, plug a USB lead in it, configure it with the Wi-Fi. And then I want one that just works. Ideally that streams over Wi-Fi and records. Because what I'd love is one that records in high definition as it goes around, but it can also stream a smaller version to the Wi-Fi so I can see what it's doing. Anyway, I haven't got one of those. So what I've got is this. This is an ESP32 camera. This board, it comes in 2 parts. Well, 3 bits if you take that. Look at that bit in a minute. This is the camera and an ESP32 sitting on the back. This uses the internal antenna. This is something I'm going to need to experiment with. The one I got came with this little board as well. And what this is a programming board. So you plug that into the back. You can now power it off USB. You can program it. Away you go. Don't need that, so I can just go back in the coach. Need a coach because I need that. That is an 18650 2500 milliamp hour battery pack. The board that it's sitting on handles charging it. It regulates the power output to either 3.3 volt or 5 volt. Brilliant. This wants 5 volt input. So what I do is I take these two wires here. The track power is incidentally off, so the fact this is wobbling all over the rails doesn't matter. I plug that in there, and in theory I've now got a battery powered camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to talk to this PC. Now I tried this briefly upstairs earlier, so I'm going to see whether this works. So I need to go 192.168, and I'm not giving any secrets away here. This is an internal address on my network. So if I do that, I should get nothing at the moment thinking about it because it's switched off. So if I turn that on, that goes on. Let's see if I can tell this thing to connect, 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 connect. This is where I find it switched off again. Switch on. Here we are, on. Hopefully it's on. Try again, try again, try again. Try again, on. Try again, try again, try again. Try again, try again, try again. Right. For whatever reason, that doesn't appear to be powering up. So what I need to do, back in a minute, I'm going to check this out. Make sure it's actually working. Okay, we're back. Yeah, I found out what the problem was. Very, very simple. I'm trying to get it to access the address 192.168.0.68, which is brilliant. Yeah, my browser was defaulting to the secure hypertext protocol, which this doesn't support. So anyway, on screen, that's the camera. Eee! That's some fat bald bloke holding a camera, looking at a camera. Now, that picture quality is actually a lot better than it was upstairs. So, what I've got is a camera and a battery. And what I've got here is a coach which is big enough to take the battery, potentially, I hope. And then I'm hoping I can stick the camera on the end of. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find some blue tack, and I'm going to find a way of getting this to fit. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, here we have a coach stuffed with a battery, with a camera bodged on the end with a blue tack, and Bucky feeling much put upon. And you can also see the camera view. Now, if I tell Bucky to move, that should start shifting. And it is doing. So there's a point I need to change. As Bucky drives out. Now, I do have to be a little bit careful here because she's actually pushing rather than pulling. But what we've got is a driver's eye camera. Now, I've not tried this. I don't know how well this is going to go. But I'm quite pleased with it so far. We go past the signal box. I can, if I jump onto this window here and scroll down a little bit, go back to the stream, it's actually got a headlight, which you might be able to see as we go around here. So here we are approaching the signal. So zoom in a little bit on this camera here. You'll be able to see as we go past the signal. You can see the headlight on the wall. And that's obviously going to be useful because we're going to run via the underneath of the layout. So that signal will change to a red when Bucky goes past, a little bit past it, because the coach isn't drawing any power. Yeah, it's gone red. I'm also looking up here. This signal will be the next one, which obviously isn't powered currently. Here we are, we're approaching an unpowered signal. Imagine that's currently green, as per the JMRI panel. That is going to go red in a sec. There we are. You can see both of the LEDs quite clearly there. And she's cut out. Why has she cut out? I'm going to guess dodgy track work, because power off, power back on. Now, I'm going to set her to run a bit slower, and I'm going to come around here. I'm going to give her a nudge. There is no connection at all, come down in Underworld, between the track and this camera. So Bucky's objecting somewhat here. I suspect the rails are dirty, so if I bring her back onto that bit of board there, off she goes onto there, where she suddenly starts stuttering. Right. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to clean some track. Yeah, try again. Run the track rubber over the rails. Now still streaming, which is quite nice. As we continue down the incline with the train cam, which I'm very pleased with. When I tried this upstairs, all I was getting was a screen full of noise. So yeah. She's coming round. I'm going to come back round here. So we've got signals going red. This one's green. What we're going to do is we're going to come around here. We're going to go around the loop. So, signal up here will go red shortly, I hope. Well, when this section occupies, it'll go red. This section has decided not to register for some reason. And here we are going into the underworld. Hopefully the wires will go around. There you can see my Arduino controller quite happily. There's sitting there. Hey, look, here's me. Spin around like this. Yeah, there's me holding a camera and Bucky going off. And you can see those red lights. That is the gantry that is holding the reversing loop software, or hardware rather. So we're going to come around here. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, you can see the infrared lights glowing. Can you? No, maybe not. Maybe not. I thought you could. And she's sort of going down through there now, as you can see the light. I'll turn that light up a bit. You might see a little bit more. Yeah. It's the underworld. Now this is going to function, I hope, as an inspection camera. Drop that light back down a bit. I need to put it back up. Otherwise you ain't going to see anything. There we are. And she should come out over there. This is the first time I've actually seen this view. I've never tried this before. I'm quite pleased. I'm holding on in case I get derailments and similar. She comes wandering around. Now she's actually set up to go around the inner loop as well. So you really are going to get a full tour here. Down here. Not particularly quick. One of the things I'm going to find with this is going to be comparatively slow going. Yeah. Change the point back. The reason this is going to be slow going is Bucky is not a particularly quick engine. You can see there with the light. She wanders around again. But Bucky doesn't have to be fast. She's she's doing a good job. You can see the camera view here. See, I can actually now drive based on the camera view. We're back into the darkness of the underworld. As we're coming round, and we're going to go round this route here, around the loop. I'm going to reset the point work down here. She's cleared that now. Once she's cleared Leopard Junction, so we're going over now. I'm quite pleased with how this is working. I'm quite pleased with how the layout looks as well. So she's coming up here. I know she's clear of that point. So if I reset that point, what she's now going to do is run up to the station deck. But she's going to go round here and back round through the underworld first. So here we are going down the incline. And again, cutting. Oh, is she going to keep going? I'm hoping she's going to keep going. She's stuttering. That bit of track obviously needs cleaning as well. She's making it. Come on, Bucky, you can do it. You can get past that bit of dirty track. She's going. You can see the juddering a bit. No, it's cut out. I'm going to have to go and clean the track again. Yeah, I should be back in a minute. All right, back. Yeah, track cleaning. Something that's needed. You can see the light as she's coming around there. She goes past the G5 and her coaches. And you'll see in a minute the freight train on the left. And she straightens up a bit. Slight drawback with using the camera on a little coach is obviously the coach twists a bit. Could be do with being on a wagon. Putting it on a wagon would work, but would also mean I need to have a second one to put the battery in. It might be doable. We'll see. The original plan was to use like a flat wagon for this sort of thing, but there we go. She rumbles past again, lighting up the track in front of her. Oop. Excuse me a minute. Yeah. This wire, this brown wire here was hanging down. Basically, as I've wandered past, I've knocked it a little and it's come loose. This is for a section that needs to be wired in. The coach caught on it, and poor little Bucky, she was spinning her wheels valiantly, but getting nowhere. As we come around here back towards Daylight and Leopard Junction again. Seeing again more of the underworld and the state of the bottom of this board. The back of the bridge does have brickwork. It doesn't have much else, but it does have brickwork. And now we're heading back up onto the incline. I quite like this. Oh, more dirty track. I'm gonna leave. Yeah, back in a sec. Back again. Now this is another, yeah, deficiencies in my my track cleaning routine. Yeah, yes, thank you, Bucky. I noticed. Well, no need to be like that. Yeah, anyway. So here we're going to come around here. We're going to approach another green signal. Because we are cleared to run straight into the station. Although this signal only clears you up to... This is this one here. Only clears you round to behind where the throttle controller is. Which I'm leaving where it is. I can move it up a bit. I'm leaving it where it is basically so that... yeah, I'm not obscuring the camera window. As we come back round here. Hello! Me again. So yes, we're going to rumble around here. We can't go all the way into the platform road because there is, as you can see, a train in front of us. Hopefully we're not going to hit that pen. As we come wandering in. But yeah, so this is an ESP32 cam. Now, if this is the sort of thing that interests you, Hopefully we'll slow down before we hit the rest of it. Literally what this is, it's an ESP32 cam module, which got me this bit and the little charging piece. I think that cost about a tenner. The battery module was about £5 or £6, and 18650 battery was, I forget how much they are. I've got a couple of them, but it's not much. Plus an old coach, obviously. Now, my original thought for this was to get hold of something like an old Lima Class 25 or a Lima Class 26, something like that. That I could essentially strip the bodywork off. An old diesel loco, but one with a power bogey at one end, nothing in the middle apart from a little bit of a weight and fresh air at the other. So there was space. I realise I've got these coaches, so I might as well use these. If I slide her back a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, because of the length of the coach, as it goes around corners, it's not. Whereas if it was a shorter wheelbase, it would be more responsive into the corners. So modifying this to sit on a van of some sort, and then having a wagon that's got to be a decent length because it's got to take that whole battery module, and they've got to be reliable enough I can push them. Because my loco, I mean, if I put a little open wagon in here for scale next to the battery, you can see it's not far off twice the length of one of those cargo compartment. Yeah, a long wheelbase open wagon would do quite nicely. Low Mac, something like that maybe, if I could find one that was reliable enough to push around a layout. So for now it's going to stay in the coach. But that's that. The software is webcam server, I think. If you install the ESP32 boards into the Arduino IDE, you've got it. So the software is free. I've made virtually no changes to it. I mean, if we come back over here, I bring this up. There's 2 pages you can access. There's a stream page, and there's also this one which has the stream, although it's showing an older picture at the moment. And you can change the resolution, you can change the quality, you can do little things like this. I'll put that in. Look at that. We've got an all sepia. Or if you want another one, grayscale works quite nicely. Green tint. Aliens. Blue. Set it again. Blue. They are sort of bluish greeny colour. There's lots of things you can do with it. So no effect. Oh, negative. What's that look like? Yeah, that looks horrible. Don't like that. But you can see the possible usage on here. And down here is the camera brightness. So if I turn the light up to full brightness, yeah, still on blue. I'll turn the blue off. No blue, don't like blue. No effect. That's quite a bright LED on the front. Like I say, I can turn that. You can turn it right down, and that's basically off at that point. Or a little bit of a light. Depends what you want it for. Yeah. So that's that. That is the first time around Leopard Street with coach cam. I'm quite pleased with that. Battery powered, totally independent from the layout. Yeah. So, yeah, that's it for this video. As usual, likes, comments, etc. More than welcome. Anyone else tried one of these things? Anyone else interested in trying one of these things? And this is a very, very simple way of getting a rat's eye view of a layout. It's a bit big. I mean, it wouldn't fit N-Gage, but that camera module, if I hold that at that end, is about right. It is fractionally high. I put the coach roof sort of, you can sort of see. Yeah, the coach roof comes to about there, so it's a little bit high. If you wanted to modify with wagon properly, if all I had to do on this was basically turn that bogey around so the coupling doesn't stick out. It doesn't overhang the, I mean, it's in front of the buffers, so if I put that there. So yeah, I could drop that down a bit further. The problem is the power cables. My thought was a small circuit board which would raise it out a little bit that this could plug into, that can have the power cables. Apparently adding a 1000 microfarad capacitor helps as well. just smoothing the power supply out can help with the noise and the quality. But yeah, pleased with that. This will feature in future videos. I'm quite pleased with this as a piece of technology. I can't put it on front of the likes of Spike or Chemosier and when she gets back up and running again. No front couplings. So it's going to be a bit limited with what locos I can put in front. That was the other idea really behind having a diesel as well, is something I could just drag around. A utility diesel. As you've just seen, my track cleaning regime leaves a lot to be desired. So something like a diesel that can shove a track cleaner around as well might not be a bad idea. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'll catch you all in the next video. There's a few things that probably coming up. There'll be obviously a bit more with the turntable at some point. I'm going to go through how I modify these things and what I use them for dealing with LEDs. And like I say, there's more to go in here. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much and goodbye.